The late 1960s. San Francisco. A kaleidoscope of flower power, mind-expanding substances, and a pervasive, if often naive, sense of optimism. Free love was in the air, protest songs were on the radio, and the counterculture was blooming like a particularly vibrant patch of weeds. Everyone was looking for enlightenment, a new consciousness, a cosmic connection. What they found, instead, was a cosmic disconnect in the form of a gentleman who preferred to introduce himself with a bang, often followed by a very specific type of silence. This wasn't some shadowy figure lurking in the sewers, content with silent, gruesome acts. Oh no, the Zodiac Killer was a showman. He was the uninvited, unhygienic guest at the Love Inn, the jarring, discordant note in the psychedelic symphony. While everyone else was busy weaving flowers into their hair, he was weaving intricate webs of fear and frustration. He was the anti-guru, preaching not peace, but panic. And his sermons were delivered with the precision of a surgeon and the coldness of a winter's night. Imagine the mood shift. 1 minute you're debating the merits of communal living, the next you're double-checking your locks, peering nervously into the Californian twilight. The Zodiac didn't just kill people, he murdered a vibe. He took the sun-drenched idealism of the era and smeared it with something altogether more visceral and terrifying. It was like he strolled into a crowded disco, flicked off the lights, and put on a record of unsettling static. A true party pooper, but with a body count. Our infamous Zodiac wasn't just a killer, he was an aspiring literary figure, a self-appointed poet of pandemonium. His preferred medium wasn't a chisel and stone, but good old-fashioned paper and ink, often liberally seasoned with hints of malice and just a pinch of deranged wit. He loved a good reveal, a dramatic entrance, or rather, a dramatic aftermath. After each horrific act, he'd compose missives that were less confessions and more like self-congratulatory press releases from the darkest corner of the human psyche. These weren't your standard ransom notes, scrawled on a napkin. Oh no, these were masterpieces of passive aggression and psychological warfare. He'd send meticulously typed letters, often with precise details of his crimes, just to let the police know he wasn't bluffing, you understand, peppered with insults disguised as intellectual challenges. If you're so smart, he seemed to sneer between the lines. Why can't you catch me, you dolts? It was a twisted game of fetch the killer, and the police were forever being sent down the wrong rabbit hole. Then came the ciphers. Ah, the ciphers. These weren't just random squiggles. These were intricate, multi-layered puzzles that would have given Alan Turing a headache. He'd promised to reveal his name, his motives, his grand plan for universal domination, or at least, that's what everyone hoped. In reality, they were often just more taunts, a complex way of saying, "Still haven't caught me, have you, you dimwits?" It was like he was a particularly cruel teacher, setting an impossible exam, and then tooting loudly when his students failed. I can only imagine the scene in the newsrooms and police precincts. A hush falls over the room as a new Zodiac letter arrives. The frantic unsealing, the collective groan as yet another indecipherable code is unveiled. Right, someone would sigh. Who wants to spend the next 72 hours trying to figure out if corn means kill more people or just I like cereal? The very idea of the Zodiac sitting at his kitchen table, meticulously crafting these puzzles, perhaps chuckling to himself, adds another layer of chilling absurdity to the whole saga. He was the ultimate troll, long before the internet even existed, just with far more deadly consequences. His grand promise to detonate a school bus full of children, signed with a flourish of his crosshairs symbol and a polite "yours truly," wasn't just a threat. It was a sick stand-up routine designed to induce maximum terror and minimum sleep. The chase for the Zodiac became a sprawling, multi-agency fiasco, a never-ending episode of Cops, where the bad guy was always one step ahead, occasionally pausing to send a postcard. Every lead, every tip, every crackpot theory was pursued with desperate hope, only to lead to another dead end, another frustrating cul-de-sac. The police, at their wits' end, tried everything short of a seance. They brought in handwriting experts, linguists, forensic psychologists, and even the local eccentric who claimed his cat could solve crimes. They plotted trajectories, analyzed astrological charts, because why not, and even staked out payphones, hoping to catch him mid-taunt. Imagine the conversations. "So, Chief, the psychic says he has a strong aura of socks. And he's a Leo. Probably likes long walks on the beach. While holding a knife." The sheer desperation of the situation lent an almost farcical air to the hunt, a tragicomic ballet of futility. The media, of course, was an eager accomplice in the Zodiac's macabre performance. Every letter, every murder, was splashed across headlines, turning him into a perverse celebrity. His symbol, a chillingly simple crosshairs, became instantly recognizable, scrawled on walls, a silent testament to his omnipresence. He was everywhere and nowhere, a phantom limb of fear that the entire Bay Area felt. And then, as abruptly and inexplicably as he burst onto the scene, the Zodiac vanished. The letters ceased. The phone calls stopped. The murders dried up like a California riverbed in August. It was as if he'd simply decided his performance art piece was complete. "Curtain call!" You can almost hear him stage whispering before melting back into the shadows. Perhaps he got bored. Perhaps he moved to a less dramatic locale, a quiet suburb where he could knit sweaters and anonymously complain about his neighbor's lawn care. The ambiguity of his disappearance is almost as terrifying as his crimes. Did he die? Did he go to prison for a different crime? Did he simply decide that terrorizing the Bay Area was less fulfilling than, say, competitive birdwatching? Today, the case remains one of America's most chilling and frustrating cold cases. The Zodiac Killer became an almost mythical figure, a spectral bogeyman whispered about in hushed tones around campfires and in late-night internet forums. He's the ultimate what-if, the chilling reminder that sometimes, the curtain falls and the villain simply walks away, leaving behind a stage littered with unanswered questions and a legacy of enduring terror. And frankly, that unresolved ending, that final, dark punchline, is what makes his story so incredibly, terrifyingly, and darkly compelling. He didn't just kill people, he stole a sense of closure, leaving behind an unfinished masterpiece of mayhem. And for that, we can almost grudgingly admire his audacity.